Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. I'm going to present you the newest features in Airlock Microgateway 4.2. My name is Stefan Dittiker and I am the product manager of Airlock Microgateway. I have quite a few topics that I want to cover. First, a few words about Airlock Microgateway for those who are new to it. Afterwards, the main new features of Microgateway 4.2. Some miscellaneous features and changes. Unfortunately, we have some breaking changes I like to deep dive. And finally, an outlook on what is coming next. First of all, what is Airlock Microgateway? Airlock Microgateway is a Kubernetes native web application firewall and API gateway. Kubernetes native means that it is built for Kubernetes and every Kubernetes engineer gets familiar with it in short time. They can use their normal tools such as kubectl, GitOps tools like Argo CD, or enforce policies with OPA Gatekeeper or Kyano. Microgateway is based on Envoy proxy, which is the de facto standard for data plane. We enriched it with our own filters to provide the desired functionality. Airlock Microgateway runs as a sidecar of the web application container. Therefore, it is as close as possible and can filter any traffic designated to the web application. Airlock Microgateway lets the Git user in and keeps the bad stuff out. Microgateway is available as Premium Edition and also as Freemium Edition. Therefore, feel free to grab your license and get started with Airlock Microgateway. Let's have an overview about the features and especially what is new in Microgateway 4.2. Microgateway 4.2 comes with a bunch of new features and improvements. The main new features are Cilium support, Helm Chart for CNI plugin and operator, ARM support, and OIDC relying party. Helm is an open source CNCF project that is known as a package manager for Kubernetes. It facilitates the installation, update, and uninstallation of Kubernetes application with just a few commands. Previous Microgateway versions came with Kubernetes manifest files, which were static. With Microgateway 4.2, we made 2 Helm charts available to customize the deployment to your needs. The 2 Helm charts are Microgateway CNI, which deploys the CNI plugin, Microgateway, which deploys the operator and its resources. The most important settings have been made available to customize. Some of them are common labels, image repository, and much more. Airlock Microgateway enables security to be integrated early in the development cycle. We provide a multi-arch image so that modern developers can also use Microgateway on their latest laptop with ARM processors. Airlock Microgateway can now be used on x64 and ARM64 processor architectures. OIDC is an open standard that allows clients to verify a user identity using an authentication server and obtain profile information in an interoperable way. Airlock Microgateway 4.2 has been extended so that it can configure as a OIDC relying party. This means that only authenticated users can access the protected application or API. you can use Microgateway with any OIDC OP to authenticate the users. The information provided in the OIDC ID token or access token can be used by Microgateway to propagate users' identity to the upstream service. The feature itself is currently experimental, but why? The state parameter, which is sent to the OIDC OP when redirecting the client, doesn't have a random value. ID token and access tokens are stored in cookies and sent to the accessing client. These two issues are not idle from security perspective. We have planned to resolve the mentioned issues in one of the next Microgateway versions. Anyway, we would love to get feedback from you about the solution we provide, what features you miss, or what you like the most about it. Sometimes it's difficult to say whether a certain web application only uses the most recent standards and protocols. We assume that multipart is still quite common and broadly used, which is why we implemented a multipart parser. The behavior can be configured in the parser CRD. The default multipart pattern can be configured, or if desired, the parser disabled at all. If there are some requests with the wrong content type, but it should be treated as multipart, a specific rule can be configured. The same applies to the opposite. If a request is sent with the content type multipart, but its body isn't multipart or doesn't fulfill the RFCs, the parser can be disabled for this request. Microgateway does now parse path segments as well. But what are path segments? The following example shows an HTTP request and illustrates the path segments. Each segment has an index starting from 0. Microgateway now also protects the upstream service if an attack payload is within a path segment. Path segment can be used in the CRD deny rule to either configure overrides, to set a different security level, exceptions in case of false positives, or create custom rules to your desire. Airlock Microgateway has limits to protect upstream services from DOS attacks by limiting the possible request size. In version 4.2, we provide the possibility to create JSON and parameter length exceptions. But why would you use that and how to configure it? Imagine the following request, which sends a JSON document to the upstream service. The whole document is valid and fulfills the limits, but the request also contains a JSON encoded picture which triggers the limit. Previously, the only solution was to configure higher limits, which reduced the security. With Microgateway 4.2, the specific length exception can be configured for the affected JSON key or parameter. Imagine you have several Kubernetes clusters running. Some of them are operated on-prem in your data center, others in different public clouds. Most likely you have a multi-cloud strategy, which is why you have a setup like that. But how can you connect those clusters together? The workload deployed in these different clusters should connect to each other. This is a typical use case for Cilium. Cilium is an open source network, security and monitoring solution for cloud-native environments such as Kubernetes based on extended Berkeley package filter, eBPF. It supports powerful functions such as service mesh, cluster mesh, network policies, and much more. I'm thrilled to announce that Microgateway 4.2 can now be combined with Cilium. We support this kind of deployment and are certain that it provides great benefit for our customers. This way, you can combine the benefits of both solutions. They are cloud agnostic and Kubernetes native. In order that Cilium works in conjunction with Airlock Microgateway, a few configuration steps are required. Please consult the Airlock manual for detailed instructions. There are some additional benefits because of the Kubernetes native integration. It is possible with tools like Kyverno, OPA Gatekeeper, or KubeWarden to disallow certain settings in production. An example is insecure configurations like deny rules in log-only mode. You can use Kubernetes tools like kubectl to figure out which settings are configured. Tools like Customize, Helm, or other Kubernetes tools can be used to template your configuration. You could apply the same mechanism you use for your workload. Overall, it is a declarative configuration, so versioning, auditing, and diffing is easy and can be integrated without any problems in GitOps tools like Argo CD. Did you know that Visual Studio and other IDEs provide plugins for completion, validation, and tooltip? This simplifies the configuration task tremendously and is only possible because of the Kubernetes native integration. Besides the mentioned features, there are some other improvements and changes to mention. We moved our image registry from dockerhub.com to Quay.io. The Helm charts are published in the organization Airlock Charts. The images are published in the organization Airlock. Please ensure that you can pull those resources from the new registry. Additionally, we made some improvements around the upgrade scenario. When updating the operator, the engine is untouched. The protected pods are left untouched and must be rolled over manually. In Microgateway 4.2, we added a label to the pods, which are outdated and should be rolled over. This way, it should be easy to figure out where manual actions are required. Let's say a few words about licensing. As you might know, we provide the Community Edition, which has all features enabled. It is intended for small environments and local development. The Community Edition has more restrictive operational parameters than the Premium Edition. Examples are the number of sidecars, which is limited, the shorter license expiration, and smaller throughput. To see the full list, please consider the Airlock Microgateway manual. For those who use the Community Edition, we provide a public forum where they can post their questions and commenting on other posts. The form is moderated by Airlock, but without any guarantee of response times. We also do not analyze cases, but we provide hints and pointers to documentation. Premium support is still required for solving complex cases. Microgateway can be used in conjunction with Airlock Gateway. From licensing perspective, this means the following. It doesn't matter how many microgateways are deployed. You can deploy as many microgateways as you want. What counts is the maximum overall requests per month for all microgateways. The backend on the gateway for the Kubernetes cluster node are free if the traffic is filtered by microgateway. At least one backend must be licensed on the gateway. For production environments, 100% of the license costs apply. Every additional stage comes with 10% of production costs. Filtering is the base module and is licensed based on requests per month. The authentication can be licensed in addition and costs 40% of the base module. The authentication module cannot be used without the base module. No matter which edition you want to use, you need a license. For a Community Edition license, click on the link on the left-hand side and fill out the form. You will receive an email with the license within minutes. For a Premium Edition license, click on the link on the right-hand side and fill out the form. A salesperson will contact you to discuss the details. Important to note, there is no built-in license. There are some breaking changes in this release. With Microgateway 4.2, some licensing parameters have changed, but why? Customers reported back that the licensing model based on max throughput requests per second is not ideal. This way they have to license the peak, which could be very expensive. It is not easy to figure out what the throughput in request per second is. To make customers' life easier, we adjusted our licensing model. What has changed? The new licensing model is based on requests per month. To simplify licensing, all requests are counted, allowed and blocked requests. We have a trust model for the Premium Edition. This means Microgateway runs without any interruption if the licensed number of requests per month is reached. Some architectural changes comes along with the change of licensing model, but we think they are beneficial and our customers will like them. Because of the trust model, we could get rid of the license guard pod and the license guard Redis pod. This means lesser components to care about. Isn't that great? The new license model means that a new license file is required. For Community Edition, simply fill out the form and request a new license. For the Premium Edition, contact Airlock Sales to discuss the details. Please ensure that you updated the license file before updating the Microgateway. And keep noted that the new license file is required. Previous versions were deployed with Kubernetes manifest files. while Microgateway 4.2 comes with a Helm chart. Please uninstall first Microgateway installations and redeploy them with Helm Chart. This way the Microgateway resources are managed properly by Helm. In order to fulfill Prometheus best practices and simplify future extensions, we renamed a few metrics. Here is the list of engine metrics we have changed. In order to have a consistent naming, we renamed the operator metrics as well. Because of the changed licensing model, the following operator metrics have been removed. Since Microgateway 4.2 has no license guard anymore, the corresponding metrics are gone as well. The mecanode to inject the engine sidecar has slightly changed. In previous versions, an annotation was required for the pod. In Microgateway 4.2, the pod must be labeled. There are two main reasons why we changed this behavior. This way, customers can query with kubectl for pods which should be protected. We could improve the webhook configuration, which means that only creation and update events for protected pods are sent to the webhook. Let's talk about Microgateway version 3.4. By December 2023, Microgateway 3.4 has reached end of life. Microgateway 4.2 is the latest supported version. If you haven't started to migrate to version 4.2, please do now. In case of any difficulties, reach out to our sales contact. Let's have a look into the future of Microgateway. We have planned to extend the OIDC RP integration with further features and resolve the mentioned limitations. In addition, we want to support multi-namespace operation. So the Microgateway operator can be configured for which namespaces he is responsible for. In case that you miss an important feature, please reach out to us so we can discuss further details. I'd like to say thank you for your time and hope that you enjoy the new Microgateway release. Goodbye.